Welcome back. It is Happy Friday here, July. February, we wish it was July, don't we? We wish it was July 12th. Then it would be a couple days away from my birthday. That's not true. It is February 12th. We're getting close to the Valentine's Day. Ooh, the day of love. All right, so today we are putting in another clock, okay? Let's go talk about this. We need a clock, and I'm going to rename this clock. And don't worry about it if you put this clock one into your code already, and then you go back and change the name, it'll automatically change the name for you. So this is clock move sprite. This clock is going to be used to move the sprite. Now we need another clock. So let's go get a sensor, get another clock, and I'll rename this clock. And this clock is clock game time. What time is it? It's game time. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back into my code now. And up here, I'm just going to copy these and paste these. And this is going to be clock game time. And this one's going to be clock game time. This is true, it started, but this one is 1,000 milliseconds. That is 1 second. So I want to have the second clock being running at 1,000 milliseconds. The first clock is running at 500 milliseconds so that the sprite can move very quickly. If the sprite's not moving quickly, you got a pretty boring game. You guys with me on that? And, you know, if you guys can always add some kind of challenge to your game, somebody in the world will like it and want to buy it. Okay? Add some kind of challenge to your game. Everyone loves a challenge. Okay? So there's my clock. By the way, do we want to play a song in here? All right. So so all I do is I go back to my designer. You guys want to bring a song in and open it up in Audacity. So here's Katy Perry's song. You guys ready? You guys can't hear that? Yeah. So all you have to do is like grab a piece of this song here. I don't know what this piece is here. All right, so let's go down here. Let's see what this is back here. Okay, let's go ahead and just get something without so much words. This is the beginning. You guys hear that? Uh-huh. So what you do is you just go here and get the part of the song you want, export selection, and I'll say this is KP intro. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. And then I hit save. And then I go to my MIT, and do we have a player in there? Yeah, we have a player in there. So you click on your player, and you go to source, and you guys know how you like upload an image? Well, you have to upload the song media file. So you upload, choose. Watch how easy this is. Okay? And there's my other sounds. K. Perry. Oh, no. There it is. So there's my KP intro. And then you load that into your file, and it's either going to accept it or not accept it right there. If it doesn't accept it, it's probably because it's too long of a song. So you probably have to, that's why you have to use Audacity and shrink it down. You want something less than a minute. Every time I've gotten over a minute on a song, it rejects it. Says its file's too big. You have? What was it, a WAV file or an MP3? Maybe WAV files are probably less quality, so maybe you can go a little bit longer with WAV files. Was it MP3? That's cool. I'd like to know how you did that. So here's volume, and all you have to do is type loop, but I'll show you how to do that in blocks. So now, once you go to your initialization screen, and then you just go to player, and you tell your player to start. Okay? And there's my player, and my player starts to play that song. How easy is that? Is that pretty easy? You're telling the player to start playing. Okay? All right, so let's get this game time to work because I'm really thinking about the reset button. I want to reset the clock. So I'm thinking about resetting the clock, but the problem is I don't have the clock working. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to create a variable. Okay, and this variable is going to be called game time. And I'm going to set this variable equal to 60 seconds. That means they have 60 seconds to play this game. You guys with me? And remember, I set the game time to be 1,000 milliseconds. How much is 1,000 milliseconds? 1 second. So every 1 second, every 1,000 milliseconds, I'm going to subtract 1 off the game time. Just hit continue. Okay. So I'm going to go up here and I've got game time. Now I'm going to click on my clock, game time, and yep, I went ahead and started the game time. So what happens in the game time? Well, you got to do a little bit of math here to your variable. Okay, we want to subtract off the game time. So I'm going to go ahead and set my game time equal to, do some math and subtract. Okay, so I'm going to go get the variable again. I missed. And I want to go ahead and get game time minus 1. Okay, and then I go ahead and set that into my variable. And there is your game time subtracting 1. Okay? Now we have to do an if statement. If not, it'll run forever. If the clock gets to 0, what should happen? If get, and I need an equal sign in here. If game time is equal to 0. Can someone help me here? What happens if the game time gets to 0? What should happen to your game? What? It should stop. The game should stop. Okay? So if the game time gets to 0, then I want to stop the game. So how many clocks do I have to stop here? 2. Okay? So I want to go to clock move sprite. Hey, move sprite, I want you to stop moving. So set the timer enabled to false. And then I can duplicate this, and I can go, okay, game time is set to false. Turn the game time off also. So my sprite stops moving, and the game time stops. You just shut the game down. Okay? Now, what would I do on the reset button then? What should reset do? If you click reset, what should happen? What should the clocks do if you reset them? And what do they do? And what does that mean if I reset the clocks? And what does that mean if I'm resetting? Don't they get turned back on? Don't you turn the clock on to start running again? Is that what reset means? Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. And I'm going to say, okay, these get turned back on. And what about your score? How do you reset the score? Score should go back to 0. So you see what I'm doing? You just go back to your variable, and I need to set score. Duplicate this, and I need to set the game time. What's the game time get set back to? How much game time do we give them in the beginning? 60 seconds. So you just reset this back to 60. Do you guys see how I'm doing this? Is this that hard? This is agile game development. You just think at one piece of a time. I'm just thinking about the reset button. What does the reset button do? You have to verbalize it. If you can verbalize, you guys kept saying reset, reset. Well, what does reset mean? Are you with me? If you can get yourself to say, what does reset mean? You have to, saying reset, reset, reset. We all know it resets. That's why it's called the reset button. But you have to break down, what does reset actually do? Are you with me? It's not hard to think this way, because all of you can tell me, oh yeah, score goes back to 0. Oh yeah, game time goes back to 60. That's what we started with. Oh yeah, I need to turn the clock back on. That's how you got to think. It's not hard to think that way. You just have to make yourself think that way. Okay? And that's pretty much, I can print these off. So I'll print these off. How many do we need? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'll put 2 at each table. And there they go. Do we want to do the voice button? Should we do voice or not? We've done voice before, haven't we? So, I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to do voice today, so enjoy.